Well, it's a mandatory Golf Friday in Oceanside, California, right down the road from Amateur Golf's headquarters. And I wanted to give you a preview of what we got in this week's notebook. We are taking a look deeply into the Ben Hogan Award's 3 finalists, which are Collin Morikawa from Cal and 2 Oklahoma State players, Viktor Hovland and Matthew Wolff. It's a very deserving trio of players that will head to Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth, and one of them will be selected the Hogan Award winner. We'll give you a preview of that, and then, of course, on May 20th, you can watch the ceremony live. It's this week's edition of The Notebook.
Wouldn't mind sleeping for a little while.
This is wild. Well, what, there's 3 more days to play this course, right?
You're the best wake-up call there can be.
Yeah. 10:24.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
Yeah, let's get some breakfast.
Yeah, let's do it. Ham, egg, and cheese, always. There you go. It's really just mostly about the company and the people that you're with. No, just check out the lie. It's pretty thicky. I love this course from the white tee.
There we go.
Come out and play it. It's mwah.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out and play it.
So it's been almost 20 years of running AmateurGolf.com, and I was really excited to get asked to be on the selection committee for the Ben Hogan Award, which is given to the player with the best performance over the last 12 months in both collegiate and amateur golf. So I'm on a committee that includes USGA officials, PGA of America, and journalists and top voices in the competitive amateur game, and we take this very seriously in terms of how we select the top 10, which we submitted. And out of our top 10 and all the other people's top 10s came the 3 people that are finalists for the Ben Hogan Award. They're going to attend a black tie dinner May 20th at the Colonial Invitational, which is in Fort Worth, at Colonial Country Club, which is Ben Hogan's home. There's a locker from Ben Hogan in the locker room, all preserved with all his original stuff. Kind of a neat deal. And let's talk about the finalists a little bit. We've got Viktor Hovland, who was the U.S. Amateur Champion in 2018. He plays for Oklahoma State. Got a stroke average of 68.53. An amazing player with several victories in the collegiate ranks and also with the low amateur finish and tied for 32nd at the Masters. So he's got a lot of accomplishments, and he's just a gentleman. They're all 3 of these guys are gentlemen. Matthew Wolff set a record for the number of victories for an Oklahoma State player, and he's just been a model of consistency all year. And as you look at his unique action that he lifts his left heel off the ground and just takes a rip at the ball, it's not just that. He has an amazing short game and gets the job done, and he wins. He winds up in the winner's circle. So what a teammate those 2 are, and it's no secret they're the top collegiate team in the country. Collin Morikawa now, out of these 3, he's the only one that's coming back as a repeat finalist. He didn't win last year, but that honor went to Douglas Gim. However, second year coming into the circle, that means he's doing a lot of things right. Picked up a couple collegiate victories this year, top 10 finishes at major amateur events, and another very nice guy that just gets the ball in the hole and knows what to do under the gun. 3 guys, they're going to arrive at Colonial Country Club. One of them is going to get selected as the Ben Hogan Award winner. It'll be broadcast live on the internet, and of course, we'll be providing you with a preview and the story of what happens.
Hey, this is Julie from AmateurGolf.com, and this week in the Notebook, we are talking all about NCAA Division I Women's Regionals. So I think it's the most stressful week of the year because you never know what's going to happen. You could be a number 1 seed and not advance. Nothing is guaranteed. I want to highlight a couple of teams who I think had really stellar performances. Number 1, of course, which you can read in the Notebook this week, is UCF, which was kind of a bubble team all year long. They had a couple of tough finishes at the start of the season to really hurt their head-to-head ranking, but they climbed back. They were on the bubble to even get an at-large bid, and they got sent to Washington, which is about as far away from Orlando as you can get, and they came out as the 6th and the final spot there. So a huge effort from UCF, making the most of that opportunity. USC actually won that regional in Washington. That was their 13th regional title, which is an NCAA best. And when you start looking at all these regional titles that USC has racked up, it makes it look like it's kind of easy to win these. But it is not easy to win these. So a big amount of respect for USC winning number 13. So going to Norman, Oklahoma, another regional winner in Texas. They won for the first time, which is sort of remarkable to me that they had never won a regional title. And I really like the depth of this team. This is a team I'm going to be watching in Fayetteville that I think has the possibility of winning it all because they have so much depth. They could fare really well in the match play setting if they can get that far. The other team that I want to highlight from Norman is Ole Miss, who won the SEC championship in match play, and they're another team that's starting to go from sort of sneaky unexpected to you kind of have to keep an eye on them. If they could get to match play, they've already shown what they can do. Going north to Michigan, Kent State won the East Lansing Regional, and they're another team that's never won a regional title. And this is kind of the natural progression of things for Kent State because they've been to the match play bracket the last 2 years in the national championship under head coach Greg Robertson. This is a team that's really on the rise, so I think winning regionals is just kind of the next logical thing for Kent State. We're going to wrap up our regional coverage then in Auburn, where Vanderbilt won the regional for the first time since 2014. This is also the first time they've advanced to nationals since 2014. That means that Vanderbilt has never played a national championship in the match play era. They got a big effort from wonder freshman Austin Kim, and so we'll see them in Fayetteville. So definitely some good stories brewing for next week in Fayetteville. We will be there on site covering, so make sure you check back in next week to see what we're talking about. We also have some storylines from NCAA Division II women's regionals in the notebook this week, and a few other things going on in amateur golf. So make sure you check it out and see what we're talking about.